Hello, listeners. My name is Khalid Taimur Akram, and I'm here with another program of Eurasian Perspective. And today we have our guest, the ambassador of Indonesia to Pakistan, Mr. Adam Tugio. He's here with us, sir. Welcome again to our show,
Thank you
and it's
for
always
having me.
nice to have you in our show.
Well, let me first expressing my thanks to you for inviting me again to this Planet TV, and I also would like to commend the initiative of the Pakistani government in inaugurating this Planet FM as the medium for uh, disseminating information in English because we learned that with this information through radio, then it will make an outreach to the wider audience, not only for diplomatic community here in Pakistan, but also international, because I believe that this radio is also accessible from beyond Pakistan.
Yes, sir. Let me just explain you about that. Pakistan Radio has almost 40 channels, and this is the only English channel which the government of Pakistan has very recently started. It not only provides a platform to all the ambassadors, but also it has a very wider audience all over the world. So, sir, as we have been talking to you before also about Pakistan and Indonesia bilateral relationship, and we have seen that ever since you have come, you have really worked hard to bring that bilateral relation to new heights. We have seen that how Indonesia helped Pakistan at the time once, just last year, once we were about to face a shortage of the cooking oil, and the Indonesian government immediately acted, and you were probably there in those days in Indonesia, and Indonesia sent a lot of cooking oil to Pakistan. So, um, in the present geostrategic environment, how do you see the current state of bilateral relations between the two countries?
Well, I think we have very strong foundations, and I believe the governments of the leaders of two governments plays very important roles in laying a solid foundations of bilateral relations. So not only in political, but also goes beyond the economy and social affairs. So I think this is very important in political dimension. For instance, last year we concluded the establishments of joint ministerial committee, which will provide strategic directions to the relationship between the two countries. It will led by co-chaired by the foreign ministers of the two countries, and we planning to have regular meetings among them, and in the meetings not only take stock of the progress developments of the bilateral relations and in many aspects, but also give strategic directions how to deepen and elevate for the bilateral relation in politics, in the economy, and social cultural affairs. So I think this is the latest developments which we believe with this will once again elevate the bilateral relations.
Thank you very much, sir. How do you see the Indonesian government's foreign policy for because Indonesia is also home to the Secretariat of ASEAN. So you not only have to see towards ASEAN also, but overall. So we would like to know more about the foreign policy of the Indonesian government.
Well, the basic philosophy of the Indonesian foreign policy is active and independent. I think by independence we are non-aligned. I think you will recall that in early 60 we established together with several countries. We launched the Asia-Africa Conference in Bandung, which laid the foundations, the establishments of the non-aligned movements. And But we also actively involved in many international issues, because I think it is shared responsibility of Indonesia together with other countries who have similar views in promoting the peace, securities, and also in development. And we share a lot in common with the governments of Pakistan in achieving these goals, and we work closely in various fora, be it in the United Nations through relevant agencies, or through the OIC, because it is also the objective of the governments of Indonesia together with other OIC member countries in promoting the good cooperations among the Islamic majorities countries, and also with other counterpart worldwide. And I think now this become more important because there is many erroneous image or erroneous news projecting about Islam. So I think the solidarity Ummah in this regard is very important to to be achieved in by working in collective.
Last year we have seen lots of floods in Pakistan, and after that we had seen Pakistan government actively working towards the climate change, and on all the international platforms, Indonesia has been continuously supporting Pakistan on the issues of climate change. And not only that, but Indonesia has always played a very major role in advocating about the climate change issues. So can you throw a light on the Indonesian policy on the climate change?
Well, before I address these questions, I think I should appreciate and commend the effort by the government of Pakistan, because I think through the active engagements of Pakistan last year, in November, the international community finally resolved one of the outstanding issues. After 3 decades, the international community agreed to have loss and damage mechanisms, which are now being discussed further for the implementations. And I think it is because of the active roles of the governments of Pakistan is promoting this in the international conference, the UNFCCC. The Indonesian government also, we make every effort in trying to contribute more to reduce the carbon emissions. We already make a pledge, voluntarily, national voluntary pledge to reduce the carbon of emissions by 29% individually. I mean, without the international cooperations by 2030, and with the international assistance, we are also targeting to reduce by 40% of the global emissions of carbon. And we are focusing in few areas which we learn. This is the area whereby a lot of emissions carbon usually takes place. Once in the forestry, so the governments also make mitigations effort and adaptations effort in trying to once again to contribute in the process. Second, on the transportations, because transportation is also very important.
Yes.
And we learn nowadays in Indonesia, the governments also put a lot of effort in making transitions toward the more renewable energy. And the third, which is also very important, on the industry, because yes, the industry is also plays very important, and we are promoting the transitional toward the green industry. The fourth element, which is of equal important, on the waste management, because waste management is very important.
Very important, yes.
So we make some sort of outline and national plan of actions in addressing the challenge that we are facing to reduce the carbon emissions by targeting to specific areas.
Very good, sir. It will not only help Pakistan, but it will help other countries also to learn from the Indonesian experience. Lately, we have seen a lot of exchange of business delegations between Pakistan and Indonesia. So, can you tell us what are the major imports for Pakistan from the Indonesian side? As I know of spices and cooking oil. So, can you, for the knowledge of our audience, tell that which spices, how many spices we import from Indonesia, what sort of cooking oil it comes from Indonesia?
Well, I think you mentioned about the cooking oil. This is one of the main product from Indonesia. We are exporting to Pakistan, and I think if you look at the statistic, probably more than 75% of the trade between the two countries focusing on the palm oil, other coal, and probably less than 20% on raw materials like the making of textile, polyester. Because I think while we import a garment from Pakistan, some of the materials come from Indonesia. So that's some things that we learn. Challenges for us because we want to expand the trade beyond the traditional items like I mentioned before, and the area whereby we see there is a lot of potential. Once is spices. You mentioned about spices because I read very interesting studies by one of the Chamber of Commerce in Pakistan. It says that spices, Pakistan actually have a lot of opportunity to export because Pakistan have huge diaspora in the U.S., in America. So you want to export garam masala, but
Yes.
some of the ingredients of garam masala may come from different countries, whereby the Pakistani government imported, and among other from Indonesia. So like clove, the cinnamon, the ginger. So Indonesia can provide those ingredients to Pakistan. So as part of the garam masala in Pakistan.
Yes. So, talking about the culture of Indonesia, we have seen that Indonesian people are very fond of cultural songs, and we see lots of Indonesian music. And after you'll answer this question, we will play some Indonesian songs for the audience also, because last time we got a very good response from the people, and we got a very good feedback about the Indonesian songs. So, what can you tell us about the cultural activities in Indonesia?
Well, Indonesia, like Pakistan, so we are diverse nations. We have more than 500 tribes, languages also, and the culture is also very diverse. And I think it is our effort in trying to preserve the diversity and maintain unity within the Indonesian state. So one thing that we are doing is to promote the awareness of being multicultural society, and I think in this regard we share a lot in common, and we are planning in this regard to organize a cultural exhibition. Like last year's we organized in La Firsa, but this year's starting next week on the 18th, we are planning to organize cultural exhibitions in Lahore Museum in collaborations with Lahore Museum. This is one full week event whereby we want to display the unique confluence of civilizations between Indonesia and Pakistan, because you will see the trace of Islam civilizations, the Buddhist civilizations, and how those two civilizations affect Indonesia as they are also affecting Pakistan. So with that hopefully people in Pakistan, especially the students, the younger generations, would be more interested to learn about Indonesia. So they are interested to know more beyond Bali, to know more beyond our founding father Sukarno, and more beyond palm oil, because this is some things that
Yes.
I keep hearing from Pakistan.
But palm oil, Pakistani people, we use a lot of oil in cooking oil in our food. So palm oil has now become part of our staple food. So first we have to ask about palm oil whenever we talk to some Indonesian. So listeners, we will be asking more questions from the Excellency, the Ambassador of Indonesia. And yes, we will ask him that how can we attend the event in Lahore and what all is going to be there. But before that, let's listen to a song, an Indonesian song, and we'll come back after a few minutes. We heard a very beautiful Indonesian song. So, sir, can you explain what was in song? Because although the voice of the singer was very beautiful and the music was just like Pakistani music, but what was she saying?
Well, this song is actually a tribute to a unique song in sense of it is tribute to one of the legends musicians in Indonesia. His name is Krisha, and it used as a titles of the song. But the songs actually combinations of probably more than 100 of titles which songs by Krisha. So it is combinations of very popular songs by a legend in Indonesian song as a tribute. So they put it at the title as Krisha, which actually tells about everything about this legend.
So last time I remember I asked you a question regarding that what can be the products which will be which Pakistan can send to Indonesia, and you answered it very thoroughly. And after that I received a number of queries from people that how is the Indonesian market receptive to the Pakistani products? I thought that I'll ask you during my next interview, and today we will ask you that how do you see the Indonesian market? Is it receptive towards the Pakistani products?
Well, I think market is very rational in terms of they're trying to find a good a product with competitive prices, and nowadays with borders, what people can easily find product from different countries. And I think being the two countries who already have the PTA, then certainly it is a good opportunity for Pakistans to enter the Indonesian market. And I learned, for instance, Pakistan is very good in garment,
Yes.
and in leather,
Yes.
leather products, garment, and some of pharmaceuticals products also was very affordable as compared to Indonesia. So in this area, I think Pakistans can enter a market that, in addition to the kino, which
Yes.
everyone knows Indonesia, one of the best kino in the world come from Pakistan, and also mango, because I think mango Pakistan is quite different in terms of taste with mango in Indonesia. So with the unique taste of mango and kino, it gives a new variety, a diverse variety for a market in Indonesia, people to choose a different product in Indonesia. So that's for that reason the Indonesian government through the embassies we organize a business meeting through in the last 3 years. Because of the COVID, we conducted through business matchings through virtual mechanisms, but now since we alhamdulillah the pandemic already well controlled, So the embassies also is very keen to once again to provide facilities in providing a bridge and make a linkage between the potentials exporter from Pakistan to export their product to Indonesia.
Very good, sir. One question which we always ask, and I'm sure that whenever any Pakistani businessman would meet you, would ask that what is the possibility of having direct flights with Pakistan, between Pakistan and Indonesia? I think this is the most asked questions to you.
Thanks for raising these questions, because I think this is very important because once you have a direct flight, and then you can expect more and more people to visit two ways, and more and more interactions, and eventually more and more trade. And we are now working together with relevant institutions in Pakistan in making this happen. Some preliminary works had already been conducted between the two sides. We hope, once again, that we would be able to open direct flight from Pakistan to Indonesia by the end of this year. So I'm working very hard in materializing this objective. But beyond that, I think I should use these opportunities also to inform you, the audience in Pakistan, the positive developments in the last 2 years, whereby we see there are many Pakistani students also travel to Indonesia to study, and I think the study in Indonesia provide the opportunity for Pakistani students to to have encounters with different to encounters with different ways of life, different cultures in Indonesia. And in this regard, the Indonesian government provide fully funded scholarship for the government for the students in Pakistan. And in the last 2 years, we see the positive trajectory whereby Pakistani students are the biggest recipients of the Indonesian scholarships.
Yes, as we also know that there are a lot of Indonesian students studying in Pakistan. So once they go back, I'm sure they must be promoting a soft image and a positive image of Pakistan. So how do you see that in days to come? That do you see the tourism between Pakistan and Indonesia will increase? We would like to see more Indonesian tourists visiting Pakistan, because Pakistan has got a lot of historical places, and one similarity that Indonesia and Pakistan has is the Buddhist monuments and the Buddhist heritage which we have. So how do you see the expansion of tourism between our two countries?
Well, this is one of the area whereby I see there's a lot of potentials. I think if you look at the statistic, you see more than 38% of ASEAN populations are Buddhist. Not to mention that 24% are Muslim. And from Indonesia also there are some, although small, but there are some populations in Indonesia as Buddhist. And I think to my surprise, when I landed in Pakistan, I also just realized how Pakistan is the land of the heritage of Buddhists, because you have this is the tapestries of beauty, tapestries of heritage, whereby you can find not only the sacred shrine of the Islamic religious in many places in Pakistan, but also the Buddhists. I participate in the excursions, the cultural excursions organized in Taxila, in I think the sort of in the Buddhist cave in Islamabad. And only last week to Takbai, with the courtesies of Dr. Dr. Kumar, the special assistant for Prime Minister for the Gandhara civilization. So I was also impressed by the fact that Pakistani government plays very, very hard, and also they not only well preserve the Buddhist heritage, but also now is promoting as part of the world civilizations. This is something that the world need to know, that the unique of Pakistan, because being one of the biggest Muslim populous countries, you have thousands of sacred place of Buddhists, and for Indonesian tourists also, this is something that attractive in addition to the beautiful nature, beautiful sceneries that you have.
So, sir, being the ambassador of Indonesia to Pakistan, and since now you have been here for quite some time and you have been moving around a lot in Pakistan, so if you have to sum up your relationship with Pakistani people, how do you find Pakistani people, and how do you find our culture, and if you have to, not as an ambassador, but as an Indonesian visiting Pakistan, so if you have to talk about Pakistan, what will you talk?
Well, first, the land of beauty. Second, the tapestries of unique cultures and the diversities in terms of the cultures. The third, people are very friendly.
Yes.
Approachable, and easy to communicate with. And fourth, you have delicious cuisines. Delicious cuisines, which for me, being a country who also likes spices, this is something that is very attractive. And fourth, we, Indonesia and Pakistan, share a lot of similarities in terms of the culture.
Thank you very much, sir, and we are delighted to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
And audience, this is the second interview of the Indonesian ambassador, Mr. Adam Tugio, with us, and hopefully we will make a system so that we can invite him after every 1 or 2 months, so that one, to renew our bilateral relationship with Indonesia, but also to know what's new happening in Pakistan and Indonesia relationship. So till the next interview, I would like to say thank you to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And we would be playing another song about Indonesia at the end of your interview, and also because last time we also played these songs and they were liked by the audience, so I would, taking advantage of you being here at our FM channel at 87.6, I would like to request you to provide us with an album of the Indonesian songs, so that we can regularly play these songs, and hopefully the direct flights will start soon, and more Pakistanis will start going to Indonesia for tourism also. So thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Thanks for having me. Thanks.